I'm just going to share some thoughts. It's been a really special morning. I'm coming out of a really, really dark season. My winter. Trusted in the nature of seasons. I guess I understood that it was cyclical and that there was a beginning and that there was an end. And that there would eventually be a new beginning, just like there will eventually be a new end. And through this season, it didn't have another option. It was the type of suffering that cannot be repressed or ignored. And in fact, trying to do that would cause more suffering. And as promised, I think, by so many of the great scholars and philosophers that have dedicated their time to understanding human psychology and human nature. Suffering is a sharpening tool used by God, the universe, humans themselves. It really can be used to sharpen the self, and it definitely has with me. I'm not really tapping into anything new. I'm not tapping into anything outstanding. It's actually age-old wisdom. But my life definitely is a reminder that iron can only be sharpened by iron. This morning, a friend came to visit us and he's been diagnosed with cancer. He's in his age now. And listening to his conversation, I noticed that it wasn't the cancer that he was at war with. He was at war with this new practice. So the frustration of having to time when he eats and what he eats and what tablets he has to take and when he has to take the tablets, because he's actually asymptomatic, so the cancer is in the body, but he's not identifying how it's impacting him. They've just identified these cancers. So he has to undergo quite severe treatment still. But what he's actually at war with is the cancer caused by the difficult experience. It was caused, I guess it was multi-dimensional at the same time, but one big aspect of the suffering was not being used to the new practice, the new way I had to live, the new way I had to approach life. There was these new things that I had to do that I had never done before, where I had to attend to my grief, to missing her, to my lack of resources, to the frustration, the impotence, the corruption, the lies, the things that I had to face. And I didn't, the only peace that I was able to receive through my dark season, and I wonder if this is relevant to anybody else, but it was by making peace with these new practices, just identifying that I was limited in certain ways and that I had to do brand new things and make these brand new things a part of my life rather than resisting them, and at least not add suffering to the already difficult situation. I don't know if that makes sense to anybody. And the cool thing is that as I learned to practice the integration of having to behave in a new way so that I could adjust to my season of grief and loss, and I guess in this gentleman's case, as he's adjusting to this diagnosis and how this diagnosis now impacts his life every single day. I guess I have the privilege of knowing that mine was psychological, emotional, and I have the trust that it would come to an end. Whereas for him, the doctors said it's serious, and so obviously it's more difficult for him because of his age and because of the type of situation he has to face. So I guess he's not promised the end yet. But at least those of us that don't have a critical diagnosis, those of us that are having an emotional season of suffering, a psychological one, I can tell you from the other side that it does come to an end. And the cool thing is that as you learn these new ways of being through the dark season, that these new habits can come with you into the bright season. So I was telling this gentleman today that during my time, there were days where I couldn't even brush my teeth. Like having a shower was difficult. I had long black hair, and one day I had to just cut it because I couldn't bear the thought of getting in the shower and brushing my hair so that I could make it to one of these difficult interviews. During my season, I had to do quite a lot of interviews and face authorities and these sorts of things. And in those times, because I didn't have much energy to do much, I began to find pleasure in the smallest of things. So getting to the shower and having a hot shower was probably all I did sometimes in a week or in a day, because everything else seemed, like enjoying, having fun, going on activities, that stuff was so far from me. And I began to find joy in just having a hot shower or brushing my teeth or laying on a pillow, silent. I began to enjoy the smallest of things. I began to celebrate my smallest of achievements. And now that my season of suffering is being transformed into spring, it's still the same thing. Like I savor my showers, my brushing of teeth, a gentle walk with the sun on my shoulders. And so I guess I just want to encourage everybody not to be distracted during your suffering. I know it's tempting to try and pacify it with some distraction. I don't encourage that. But I also encourage you not to do it alone if you have the means to access some real support, psychological, emotional, spiritual, whatever it is. I was quite resilient and I was quite strict on ensuring I had the best resources possible during that time. And it was a deprived time. And there was quite a few months where I went at it alone. But I do encourage you to observe it, observe the suffering and the nature of it and why it's here and what is actually causing the suffering itself. And a lot of the suffering is being actually added on by our incapacity to embrace these new practices, these new ways of being. So one of the big ones for me was my lack of energy. I couldn't handle having so little energy. That was really struggling, and there was a lot of judgment that came with my low energy. And once I began to just accept, I'm bloody suffering, I'm in a difficult moment, I'm dealing with massive bombshells in my story, and I think I'm allowed to have low energy. The cool thing is that embracing the low energy through the suffering opened the door to my capacity to contemplate and think and write. And I don't have to move much except my fingers when I'm doing that. And I wouldn't have found that space unless I had allowed the low energy that having to face that difficult time forced me to have. I don't know, today's an incredible day. I really am at the end and at the beginning of spring in my story. And I wanted to make this video just to encourage it. If you are having a difficult moment, stay the journey. Be brave. Be brave. Truly face yourself in it. Own what part of the situation is your own practice that could be having a negative impact on you. And then observe the impact of the conflict, be it grief, loss, relational, occupational, social, spiritual, whatever the nature of it. Just be brave and understand that there's something beautiful in it also. For me, it was learning to behave in a new way, in a gentler, more softer, more vulnerable, more authentic, more transparent, less heroic way. That was thanks to the dark season. I'm not saying that I'm void of suffering, because I'm present of its nature in the life of others, the life of my clients, the people I work with. I just had my go, and I still get to see how others get to have a go, and I am committed now professionally to encouraging individuals to walk through suffering rather than avoid it. For those of you that are watching this video and never have seen any of my videos, this is where I get to sort of be me, really me. In my life, I educate, I serve my community through psychology in different ways. Even as a relative, even as a friend, I still do that often. So I'm putting on a persona that's very different to my nature. They're not very different, they're similar, but who I am on my own is actually quite reserved, quite quiet, slow. And but when I'm relating with my community, I put on, my charisma and my tone of voice and the way I express, and that's so that my message gets put across in a way that's impacting. But it tires me out a lot, as most INFJs would know. So this video is just a space where I get to play with my undigested ideas and undigested emotions, because we don't really have many of those spaces as INFJs. We're often too busy being concerned with how we're coming across and that we're not making anybody uncomfortable. So we hold out sometimes controversial thoughts and ideas to ourselves so that we don't make others uncomfortable. But it's extremely important for this personality type or individuals that have these cognitive functions to express thoughts and feelings and emotions. Emotions and sensations. So this is my page. So excuse the boring nature of the screen and my tone and even my attire sometimes. I try and hide my face as much as possible so I can be more anonymous and in a way practice being more transparent. I'm working to bring more of who I am into my community and not have to hide how fragile I actually am. I've tried. I'm doing it quite well, I think. Anyway, I don't know if this video makes sense. Once again, it's a place where I don't have to worry about making sense, even though I still do. I'm just feeling really me today, and it's been a while. It feels wonderful. I just want to encourage you to trust that, to trust the season, and even trust the moments that you don't feel fully you, because you get to learn a hell of a lot in that moment. About your limits, about your humanity, about your mortality. Alright, I'm off. I read the responses to the other video. Thank you guys. So much intelligence. I feel like it's so wonderful to know I'm not alone in my type, in my personality, in my nature. Even though we're all unique, like no one is really the same as anybody else, but the Myers-Briggs is quite helpful, at least in the schema of cognitive functions, and it's just listening to the way others write and the way that you guys make your own videos and how similar we really are, and that we're not these weird aliens, that we really were made for Earth. We've just been hiding. Most of us are hiding all the time, so we think we're just weird and not normal, but we are. We're just not common, but we are. We're just rare. I don't want to say we're normal, because no one's really normal, but we do belong. to a cluster of individuals, and that's cool. So I hope that you're encouraged to also make your videos and just express yourself in a real way. You have to hide your face like I do until you're comfortable allowing who you are in the world and who you are in the inner world to merge. Just practice for now. I am. I know the world's made for extroverts. I'm not good at pretending. But I feel like it's our time to come out, guys, with these tools that we have available to us. I feel like we don't really have any excuses to hide anymore. And we're usually really only hiding from our own judgments or our own projections of those judgments. I've noticed that the more I'm being me, the full of me, and I'm noticing that there's plenty of people out there that can get us, but we've got to work really hard at sharing our limits and our vulnerabilities so that people don't have expectations on us that are difficult for us to sustain across time. So it's actually, we've got a real job to show the world who we really are, so that we don't have to hide all the time. Alright, I think I'm absolutely mumbling. Is it mumbling? Yeah. Take care, guys. Do a video soon. Thanks for listening if you made it here and this far.